Good evening, everyone. Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Anita, and I'll be like taking this class on UI and UX. So I will like try to like do most of the things I prepared for today because I'm having like a bad network. I think because of the weather or something like that. So first, I'll be talking about Figma. I think we'll talk about we'll go through like the basics and some interface and where you can get inspirations from for your UI and UX designs and recently I updated some things like than the last class because I did some variables. So I also like go through like design systems and how it can help you like fasten your design. You can easily switch from light mode to dark mode. So I think I'll try as much as possible to like have everything like in this class. So yeah, I'll be sharing my screen. Mm, oh god. Wish I can see what I'm sharing though. Okay, I think oh, okay. Um, I think, can everyone hear me? I don't know if everyone is hearing me. So I can
Yes.
ask.
Yes,
Yeah, we're here. I can hear you.
Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we can hear
That's
you.
okay.
We hear you.
Give me just one. Um, it's
Okay, I think she's trying to share her screen. Before she joins back, right, I just want us to talk briefly before she joins so everywhere is not quiet. I want
yes.
someone to unmute.
Cindy, did you give her the permission to share?
Yes, she has it, but she's no longer on the
Okay.
call. Yeah, she's no longer on the call. So she'll probably join back again. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
complain
joining.
about some network issues.
Mm, she's joining. I can see her. She's joining. Okay, Anita. Anita, can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Maybe Cindy, you can go ahead with what you were saying by the time she gets back.
Okay, yeah, I wanted us to discuss like briefly, have we ever used some kind of Web3 products and to see how difficult it is to navigate? Right? Like it's not, how do I put it? It's just, it's not giving, most of us are used to Web2. For example, I'm used to a lot of Web2 products, right? I use it every day, my routine. So, and transitioning into like Web3 a few years ago, it was difficult for me to navigate some kind of product. That's why I want to ask. Anyone can unmute, right? And speak and share your experience, how using like a Web3 product, how it has been for you.
I think it kind of makes sense since Web2 exists longer, so the competition there is higher. Hence, hence you need to have high compelling UX UI, otherwise you lose customers. You get me? But since Web3 was a niche, by all means, it's like we had to fight ourselves through MetaMask and all this stuff because there were no big alternative. But now since the industry is becoming more and more mature, it's like, for example, MetaMask, like Phantom has really increased, and now people are using Phantom Wallet. So it's like, I think the competition is there, and with high competition, we are by all means forced to improve to UX UI. So I think we're on the right track. But I agree with you. At the beginning, it was it was not only a battle of getting the Web3 knowledge, but on top of that, it was also rumbling with the UX UI, which was a nightmare.
Exactly.
Honestly speaking, I thank God I'm not the only one like
I'm
alone
sure
in this.
people are transitioning can relate.
You see, Zinas can relate as well. I'm so sure persons that are muted, Priscilla, Bernice, Jacob, Johnson, who else can relate here? This is like a conversation that we can all unmute and actually speak. Oh, Johnson is laughing. I can see that you're laughing. So Johnson, unmute. I've caught you. So kindly unmute and speak and share your experience. Anita said we should give her some time. So please, Johnson, unmute and share your experience.
Yeah, I think it's actually really like relatable. I don't know, it's just funny how competitive this thing has become. I mean, previously it was mostly like the Web2 developers that were like seen as like the ones doing all the work. But now you see that when you are not able to design properly in Web2, you are hardly even given the chance to like prove yourself. You are just I don't know, you are just fired left, right, center, and things like that. So it's like it has become really, really, really competitive in the Web2 space. For Web3, I have not really been into that field, like seen things in that field for myself. So I can't really speak for that one. But for Web2, yeah, it's actually very, very competitive.
It is. It is. So yeah, see, we all in this conversation. I'm so glad that okay, this is not just ETHAccra thing, just trying to cook something up together. I'm so glad that this is actually solving a problem, right? So I will pause here temporarily and see. Anita, are you ready for us?
If I like, you can see the screen I'm sharing.
It's blank. I
Blank?
don't know.
I think
Yeah,
she's trying to share something, but it's blank.
yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah, let me try and like see if I can. Okay, share this one. Okay, I've seen it. I've seen what I'm looking for. So
okay.
I'm trying to like navigate this easily. So like, can everyone see the screen I'm sharing right now? Like presentation right now.
Yes.
Yes.
So before this, I think, okay, let me just start with what is Figma and how we can like log into Figma for people that don't understand, that haven't used the Figma software before. So actually Figma is like a browser-based UI and UX tool used for wireframing, prototyping, interface design. It's also popular in Web3 due to its collaboration features, rapid iteration support, and compatibility with design system. So actually it's like a software that actually allows like, you can easily like share the file to someone else and the person can actually work on it. It's actually easy in the sense that you can actually even make your comments and everything. The person can actually also work on it while you're working on it. That's one of the best thing about Figma. I think I was using like Photoshop or something else before I migrated to like Figma, and that has been like the best software for me since. And the fact that you can also use it for like graphic design, I think that's one of the best thing about Figma. If you actually know how to use the software very well, you can use it for your graphic design. I don't think it's actually rare for me to like use Photoshop recently. So next thing now I think we'll talk about is how to log into Figma. I think I'm trying to get this thing right now. Okay, so there's another thing. I understand that there are people that always want paid Figma because there are more features on the paid Figma, like the design system I was talking about, the variables. For you to be able to switch from light to dark mode, you need something like a paid kind of Figma. So I understand it's not everybody that have the resources to also pay for the Figma file. So the best thing you have to do is to go over to like, I think that's the part I will talk about because that is even the part that matters more. Figma education. I'll share it, so don't worry. Figma education. I just realized that when you just click on Figma education, it will bring you to this. Figma education, you just go to like get verified. I hope everybody's seeing it, right? Just like
Yes.
yeah. So we get verified. You click on this get verified. I'm actually verified, so that's one of the reasons that maybe you might not see my own. But if you want, like, if you don't have the resources to pay for a paid Figma, you go through the Figma education. You can either choose bootcamp. I think another one is education or something else there. you pick either of them, then you can be able to like access Figma and other features that you cannot be able to access on paid Figma software. So now the next thing we have to talk about is like the base about Figma. We'll now go through the basics and also like get to know about the design system, the variables. I will try as much as possible to like cover all this. I might not really like explain it in full detail, but you will see how it works. So I'll show you how it works and the importance of actually having this design system and how easy it will be for you as if when I started actually like designing and someone told me about variables, it will make my work easy, blah blah blah. I will not be able to like I will not be doing from light mode, I will start designing again for dark mode. My life would have been easier like when I started, but earlier, later, anyway, it's better like late than never. Someone like taught me, oh, I have to do variables, design systems, the components, and how easy it will be for your designs. No matter how many screens you have to design, it will just make your work so easy. So you actually even see how I'll actually switch from light to like dark mode. Sorry. So yeah, let me just come back to this part. So yeah, the next thing like let me just talk about uh, the focuses we have today is the decentralization, that's the wallet, the trust wallet, the user onboarding for blockchain iterations, security cues and warnings. So yeah, like I was talking about the Figma layout, Figma key features for Web3, the frames and layouts. If I'm fast, also let me know so that I'll try as much as possible to like slow down. I'm actually like trying to like talk fast because of these network issues and things I want to like talk about before it starts affecting it again. So yeah, the frames and layouts. This is like one of the important parts of like the design, because before you start a design, you have to like use the frames and the layout. You have to like have a frame, definitely. In either websites, is either websites or mobile view that you have. So yeah, so let's go over to the frames. So I hope you can see my Figma screen, my screen rather, the Figma design.
Yes, we can.
Okay, yeah, you can see here, this is a design that I made here. So this is a mobile view, this is frame. So how do you get this frame? You come over to this part, this is where you get your frame. When you click on it, the right side here, you see the different frames you use. So the best thing I like telling everyone how easy for it to be, so that in case you want to like test your design, is to like use the size of your phone, so that you can be able to like check it out, to see it, how it looks like on your mobile phone. Also, if also for tablets, when you're designing, you have to make like 3 or 4 design, I think. So yeah, the mobile view, the tablet view, and the desktop view. So this is like for website design. So this is the website view. Let me like zoom out a bit. So yeah, these are like different designs there. This is for website. So this is about what is it called, frames and layout. So one of the things about design is also about having your grids. Most of my design I use grids. Okay. I'm trying to like see if I can shift this so that I'll be able to see. Okay. You see my grids. I just on my grid now, right now. Let me like zoom in. So one thing about grid is actually helps you to keep your assets on the design in place, so it won't like be all over the place. And that's one of the reasons I always use grids. I can be able to like measure it or whatever. You see here, all these shapes here are like online, they are not out of the line. That's one of the best things I like doing, because I like measuring my things, so to be like in appropriate like this thing, appropriate sizes. So the next thing, God, I'm trying to like navigate this thing so easy, so that so the components. There are reusable UI elements like button, the navbar, the modals. Use variants for different button states, the hover state, the active state, and the disabled state. So yeah, about this component, I think I will let me also like show everything. I will have to like show so that it will be confusing for people that are new. Let me zoom in. Okay, let me zoom in here. These are my components for this design. You see it. These are my components for the nav bar. You see it over in this design here. This is the design that I'm designing here, and that's for the nav bar. So I can easily like change here than actually designing again. This is active state of home. I can actually like do like inactive, I think so, yeah, inactive. I don't need to come and start like looking for icons again because already I've placed the components already. So there's no need of me like looking for what is it called, the icons or whatever, going back and forth again. So that's one of the easiest thing about using components. So I can like switch it back to home. So that's one of the things about having a component. When you are designing, it's not like you have to have all your components before you are designing. While you are designing, you can still like come back and like create your components. So along the line, you still like be creating your different components. So people think that, oh, maybe before they start designing, they'll do their component. No, because sometimes you might not really figure out all the features you want to do for it, you want to use for a design. But along the way, you figure out the features you want to use, come back, you create your components. So yeah, let's go back to what we have here. These design tokens define colors, typography, spacing, and grid system. I've actually like explained the grid about grid system, spacing, and typography. Now plugins. Plugins is one of the best things about UI and UX design. If you don't know about plugins, you're actually missing out because you actually like slow you down on your design. So yeah, I'll also like come back here to show about plugins. These are like my favorite plugins here for this design now. You see the different like icons. These like my icon pack, min cute icon, material symbols, the type skill. I use it for my typography. Like these are like the best. I would have like gone more, but if I'm going more now, it will make it look like I'm going to teach about just what is it called, plugins, because it's like a full thing. But if you get what plugins are, you actually make it will actually make designing so easy. So you can actually like write this down for yourself. The main cue, this like I said Iconify. I know that a lot of people use Iconify for their UI UX design, but you can actually like test out these other icon packs and type skills so that you not you not like do all these things manually. That's one of the best thing about plugins because it actually helps to fasten your work down doing some of the works you do manually. So I think the next thing we have here is okay, let's just come back. Web3 specific UI elements to design in Figma. Wallet connect, element wallet connect. Design to that's like clear CTA logos, transactional models. Transactional models, that's where like that shows you your gas fee, your wallet addresses and warnings. Let me show you this through the DAO interface, the voting. I don't know if anyone have participated in DAO voting here. You see how the cards looks like if you have participated in voting in DAOs, like and also for the Web3 specific UI elements, you also have the connect and disconnect, clear wallet status indicators and actions. These like, oh, if you want to connect to this wallet, if you are disconnecting to this wallet. So before we go back to prototyping, I think is to be best to show this. So yeah, here you will see the different wallets and how they look like the warnings. So one thing about Web3 wallets, why you have to be like, you have to be specific about some things. A lot of people are like newbie in this space, and if you don't have the right warnings or the right instructions, people can actually like do the wrong things, because I've seen a lot of people like lose money because they didn't actually read. I've seen people click on links because they thought, oh, this is the right link. I've seen people connect to the wrong to the wrong website. And so that's one of the reasons about making clear warnings on Web3 wallet. So here over here you can see like a lot of what we are talking about. This is like the modal. This is like the modal part that we talked about, having like the directions of what to do, the wallets, the blockchain that people can connect to. And also here you see like this one has the NFT transaction. And that's one thing about wallets right now, because earlier before now, some of these wallets didn't have like, you cannot be able to like buy these NFTs from these wallets. You just have to like, you cannot buy it directly from the wallet. You have to like connect to OpenSea directly. So you can be able to like make these purchases. But right now, a lot of wallets have embedded that you can be able to see your NFTs also in their wallet, which is one of the amazing things right now. And that's one thing about UI UX design. Don't actually be in one space. Try to evolve over the time, looking at different wallets, looking at different products, so that you can be able to like, what is it called, improve. You don't have to be like same space, doing like the same login pattern every time that you're designing. Every time you just have to like check different products. One of the things I do is like sometimes when I see a product I like, I download the product, I go through the different stages of the login, the flow. If I like the flow, I go through all the stages, so that next time if I'm making a design that I like, that I think that okay, this flow can go with it, I can actually make it easy. Because one of the things about design is that it has to be user friendly. So every time there's always an upgrade on wallet, because they are trying to make it user friendly as possible. So now we'll go over to prototyping. I always say prototyping is one of the best thing about UI and UX. Prototyping is one of the best thing, because shows the flow from, if I put my email, what's coming next after my email, what if it's the home page that's coming next after my home page, what am I doing next? That's one thing about prototyping. Prototyping is actually one of the things that makes, I think I will actually share from my friends this thing, but I don't know, my network is actually bad, because I would have shared from my Figma to show some prototypes. That's one of the reasons I cannot like share right now. I don't even know if my Twitter can open. I can access my Twitter right now. So, like I was saying, if you actually understand how prototype works, especially from the smart anime, delay, tap, it's actually easy. And that's the best thing. That would be like, that was one of the things that this thing encourages your client to be able to like love what you are doing. I don't know, this thing is not opening. I can't even open my stuff, because it makes the client understand what you're building from this screen to this screen, what the user will do. So the best thing you have to do while you're actually learning how to design, learn how to prototype. So sharing and handles, okay. Let me see what I'm even sharing. Okay, yeah. The dev mode. It's not everybody that actually use the Figma dev mode to this thing. So one of the things this thing does, the developers do, they like copy the assets and like go over to the software that they are using to like actually build the software here. But let's say software here, build the products rather. They copy the file, go over to the software that they are using to build the product, and like build from there, because that's one of the most things the developers does. I think most of the developers I've worked with, I've not even seen them use the Figma dev. But let me actually like show where that Figma dev is. Oh God. So the next steps, how to explore the Web3 UI kit on Figma community. If you're looking for inspiration, the Figma community is one of the best places to like look out for. But another place, another amazing place to look out for is actually using Mobeam. I think I'll write out, that's another website. I think I even share the website right now. Let me share the website again. On the website, I know a lot of people use Pinterest to like look for inspirations, but Mobeam is like one of the best place like to look for inspiration because it will guide you. Let me share that. Let me share it here. You can actually copy any of these screens and paste on your Figma. For today, this is the screen that's available. I think a year you can pay like $100. So you see how it works here. When you click on this flow, I think yes, when you click on because I think it is when you click on flow, they don't have that again. Okay, yeah, see the flows there. When you click on this flow, you will see from the login to the last screen. That's one thing about using these Mobeam websites. So these like websites I'll actually like recommend perfectly for anyone that's trying to like learn UI UX design. You don't need to like this thing. I think the best thing you have to do is to redesign any UI screen you see. Try as much as possible to redesign. It's not like just redesigning. Look at the screen like very well. Look at the grid. Look at the alignment. Look at the color that is used. Why is it that color? Question yourself so that you can be able to like understand why the design is like the way it is. So yeah, like I said, try and use Mobeam. I know, like, I think they like this thing updates it every 3 days or 4 days. So you try as much as possible to design as much as you can, look at the flows as much as you can, so that you can be able to like get the design the way you want it and be able to like upgrade from there anyway. So like you can see now, these are like different screens. They have like maybe if it's like 200 screens that this particular app has, they will show all 200 screens. So like I think Pinterest doesn't really have that, won't actually give you that. Pinterest will just give you maybe 1 or 5 or 6 screens, 10 screens. It won't really like show you like the different flows like this particular app is showing you. So yeah, try much as possible to come over to Mobeam and like use the website and the design because I think every 3 or 4 days they like change the designs that they have posted because it's also like a paid website. So they change the design. You have to like pay to see the one you actually design. So so designing for Dapps, DAOs and DeFi platform requires a thoughtful approach that balances complex functionality with clarity and trust for users. So like I was saying earlier, you have to like Web3 design, you have to be careful as much as possible because every time we are trying to like onboard a lot of newbies in this space. So you have to make the design as user friendly as possible. That's one of the reasons like people do like MetaMask, why they don't want to upgrade sometimes because MetaMask is kind of updated. You see people go shifting to Ethereum wallet and everything because it's more user friendly I think yeah, there are other new wallets anyway, but there are other new wallets, sorry. Other new wallet there's always an upgrade. Like I said earlier, you have to try as much as possible. So like to be updated. Why if you're a new Web3 designer, if you're also like if you design for SaaS products, because I see a lot of people that want to like design SaaS products, but they're not into like Web3 design because that's what a lot of users are using, these like dev tooling and etc. So you have to try as much as possible to be careful when you're designing that because if I lose money, I will also come for you. So that's just how it is. And especially the warnings. The warnings is the main thing there. You have to guide them how to like, oh, this is how you put your seed phrase, save your seed phrase. If you don't save your seed phrase, sorry, you will lose it. So all those clear instructions are like very, very important. So this is like the principles of like design. I think I was saying earlier that actually like write down some books. That's one thing. A lot of designers don't read, but you have to read anyway because you have to like understand the principles. When I started, my mentor was like, I was like, I'm not getting design thing. He was like, first I should go and leave the design and read, understand what you are seeing, the colors and everything. So these are like the principles of design: simplicity, transparency, trust signals, the modularity. This is exactly the things we have been talking about. You have to like show the risk, the connections, everything has to be detailed when you're designing a Web3 wallet or any Web3 product. Everything has to be as detailed as possible. Because if you don't detail it, when someone lose money, they will come to your customer, they will come to your this thing, easy customer support and be like, it's based on this. This is what I saw. They will show screenshots of what they saw when they were doing the transaction. If it falls into your hand, they'll be like, oh, this is their product manager, blah blah blah. So it also like comes back to the designer. Even before they push the product, also the this thing. If the product manager doesn't understand what you're designing, you have to like redesign the product. So that's another thing. You don't like to like redo work that you have like spent your time doing. So designing for dApps, landing page. Okay, yeah, these like most things we have been talking about. Wallet connect flow, the MetaMask wallet connect. So I think I will show like a design for this. Mm, because this is where I'm to show what is it called, the variables. This is where I'll show the variables and how easy for you to like design all these things. Because the same thing we are talking about DeFi platform, the same thing we are talking about the DAOs, and it's the same thing that we are talking about Web3 wallets. So that's like almost the same thing because all of them are like the same. The only difference is maybe this one you are voting here. Why Web3 wallets you are like trying to like make transactions. Why DeFi platform you are trying to like make trades. So those are like just the three different things, but it's still the same what's it called? The same principles. That's what you're using for all of them. The same grid, the same. If you're using if it's a mobile, you're using like what is it called? I will show. Okay, let me. I think it's better I show you the components rather and everything. So like I said, the variables. One of the reasons, one of the things you have to look out for when you're designing right now is using variables because that's one of the things that makes your design as easy as possible. Sorry, I'm trying to like someone using my file with me. Okay. So right now I'm sharing the screen and I'll share variables. Variables are like um it's also like you like designing your design system. I don't know if anyone has a design system here. Makes it easy for you. That's like your primitive and your tokens. But the primitive is like the main, let me say like the main thing, while your tokens is like the things that you actually got from a primitive. Primitive is like the main components, while the tokens is like the different will I say I want to like break it down as simple as possible so everyone will understand it. Let me actually like show how easy God. I want to like break everything down in case there's someone new that not like use this. So sorry. Sorry. Okay. I think it's from my end. Sorry, okay, yeah, yes, from my end. Okay. So you see how I'll easily switch from my light mode to my dark mode here. I didn't have to like start designing the strings again or whatever because I have the variables. Now this is the variable. Where is my variable? Oh, I know that. Okay, yeah, see the variables here. these the variable. I will also share a YouTube video. Let me just share the YouTube video because that will help you to understand and build your variables as easy as possible. And you can use this for any design you want to do. Any design you want to design again, you don't need to come and start looking for, oh, how will I do my light mode, how will I do my dark mode ever again. You don't need to come and look for the colors, blah blah blah, except like, okay, yeah, the company have their own color, you just add the color the company gives you, like their own like color, you just add it here. Okay, this I'll show you. If I want to add the color, I'll just like shift return. If the company gives me their own color, I'll add the color here. So you don't need to like come and start stressing yourself and be like, oh, you do this thing again. Like this, I've done it. I'm using it for all my designs. I don't have to like come and bother doing these design systems again. Let me delete this, please. And that makes my work easy. If you give me a design, I know like what my background is. If I just go to the background, I'll actually show you anyways. I think it's better showing it. Sorry, I want to like delete that. Anyway, I'll come back later and delete it. Let me use my frame. This is my frame, and I want like based on already, I already have my variables. I just click on my background, surface primary. This is it. Now, based on I've already like I can switch to black. This for the dark mode now. So I did Control Z now too. So let me type. That's it. I have my typography already to here saved. So I'll just type my typography. I choose the one I want. If it is to here, when I switch to dark mode, even my typography and everything changes to the dark mode. That's just how variables work. So that's, let me just like remember, let me just like remember. So I'll share the YouTube channel. You can watch and have that. Even as a beginner, the YouTube channel will actually help. So there's no need to like panic using it.
Hey everyone.
I'll just share it after the class. Sorry. So yeah, I've talked about the resources anyway. I think I talked about why we're on this. So the Web3 UI kits, the mobbings, the Jita. Jita is another like lovely web software you can use. Let me share Jita. Some people don't use like prototypes. Some people use Jita. Some people that cannot use prototype, they use Jita. Jita is like a simple website you can use to like do your prototype. It's like animation. Let me share this. Just like let me see if I'll see products here. Okay. Share this. So you see this is an animation here. It's showing everything. So I think I showed this the design. Sorry. This is the design that you just saw now. So this is the design that I just saw that I animated on Jita. Also, if you pay for Jita, there's paid Jita too. If you pay for the Jita, you can actually like also get it viewed here. You can still like see it here. It will be like your what is it called? Like your prototype. You can use it for different screens. That's one amazing thing about Jita features. I think they always update it. So, like I said, every product actually updates because they know that you cannot be stuck on one like progress. You have to like actually try to update because your users want like new things and new features. So they always upgrade that product. It's just like I don't really use it every time, but I will actually like still recommend it for any like if you're a newbie, if you also want to like try out different web softwares, try out Jita. And when you're actually like also presenting your work on Twitter, it's actually like fun. Like it makes like people like try to engage on your posts when you like make it lively because it's not every time that you post something static. That's yes. Think what I remember is that's one thing about sharing your work on Twitter. Sometimes I don't just want to see the screens like this. I want to see what is happening on the screen. Right now, you just understand that this thing that happened on Jita, if you actually have the live product, this is the thing, this is how it actually play out when you actually open your product. Let me see if there are other screens too that were okay. Like now, when you actually open the screen, this is how it will play out because it's not static or anything. So that's one of the amazing things about when you prototype your work. Don't just post every time you're posting something static. Sometimes people want to understand from here to here. Okay, if I open this app, is it just like this is going to look like? Is it going to be animated or something like that? Or if you show, okay, yes, it's going to be animated or something like that, it makes it fun. People would like to like engage your work. You might actually even end up having a client there because they actually like what they are seeing. You know, it's not a lot of people that actually animate. So if you can be able to like show like the full work of what you are doing, that helps. That actually goes a long way. So aside that, okay, I think I'm actually even coming to conclusion, but I'll actually like dive in another thing before concluding, before this conclusion. So designing for DAOs and DAOs DeFi platform requires simplifying complex blockchain. Like I've always said, try and make it as easy as possible. If possible, make it fun. It's better that it's fun than, but it's not like it's going to be fun because it's something serious. It's a serious business. Also, when you're designing, the way the design comes out makes people understand what you're actually designing because you cannot use someone laughing or something like that in a finance product because it's a serious business. So even this thing, the assets, the illustrations you use on your designs matters because you have to like sorry, I have another thing. You have to like try as much as possible to actually like get the vibe of the product on the product you're working on. So, interaction while building trust through clear, transparent, and user-friendly interfaces. Using tools like Figma with reusable components. Before we even end this, let me show you my full components. Because one of the things you do is having your components, that's your full design system, your variables. I promise you, you don't have to like, you actually even like be fast, even if you start like designing like 3 or 4 months or something like that, it will actually go a long way. You don't have to like, every time you're looking for, is this EEE? Okay, is this FFF? Okay, for white. You start, every time you're thinking about, oh, this is not aligning, it's not aligning. If you have a design system, you actually go a long way in design. So, okay, wait, let me show you my full design, one of my full design systems. Sorry, this is my, yeah, my full design systems. It has my components. So, so this is my components. These are my components. You see it is a lot here. These are my components. These are my buttons. Like I was saying earlier, the buttons and everything you use on a design matters because there are some designs you cannot use. You cannot use this one I'm clicking on. You cannot use it on because it will make it look serious, especially when you are designing a kids app. Even the button you use matters. Like the 100 second is better than when you're using something like this for a kids design. So these are like different components I use for different design. I don't need to come and start with designing buttons, blah, 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 again. These are my input fields. These are my input fields. I don't come and be designing again. You see it here, this is me reusing it here, my input field for my login. I will just go and copy it and paste here, or you come over to your assets, you look for inputs, I look for my inputs. So you see, this is how many comes out instance. These are the ones that comes out. I will now come over to this part of it, active. These are changed to, I don't want the active one, I want default. That's it. You don't need to come and start redesigning every time. Every time you are redesigning your login flow, blah blah. That's a lot of work. Except you want to change the way the flow is going, which will take you much time. Since you already have some of these components, you can easily like change this component to another one. You can like, what is it called? Delete instance. Why is this said? Yeah, detach instance. Then you can easily like redesign the way you want the new component to look like, the new design flow. So this is my navbar. This is my navbar. Already you can see when you click on, see it's already prototype. Why is it prototype? Because when I click on this thing, you see everything is actually like prototype. When I click on home, it will take me to this one. These like the interactions between my navbar when is on active mode, and when it's on like inactive mode. So like this is the full interaction. I don't need to come and actually like come and start redesigning my navbar ever again. So one of the things, I don't know if everyone actually understands how to like make like designs, because the thing about this class I'm actually teaching is like people that actually have a bit of an idea. That's how I'm actually navigating the class right now, because now it's not everybody that actually gets this part about this navigation. So that's one of the things. I don't know if it's everybody that gets about prototyping, navigation bar, how you can be able to like navigate from the active, the inactive mode. And I guess it's not everybody that does it. I know everybody have the different way they design too, which is still okay. But these are like the easiest way you can design. When you want to like design any website or anything, I can just come here, copy my component and go over to another like product I'm designing and reuse it. If I want to change it, if I want to like make it okay, I don't want to use this again, I will create another component for it. That's how simple it is. So you see also for this one, this is the sidebar. This is the component I use. Right now, I'm not using this component. I think I'm using another work. Let me show the one I'm currently using. Because this one I'm trying to like design a game product. That's what we're doing here. So you see these another like sidebar, which is still okay, because this is what I want for the design, because different products have different design kind of thing that I want for it. There are different kind of feel, different kind of this thing appeal that you want for a different design, because this is like a game design. So the way it will look like will be different from the way a SaaS product or Web3 wallet DeFi products will look like. So yeah, let me just go back to the design systems. So here you see the toggle, the radio button, the checkbox. I don't need to like come and be designing all those other things again, creating different components when I'm trying to like be fast with my design, because I already know I have all these things here. So the only best thing I do is just to come and copy them. So another thing is just that there is reusable components like different products have right now. I know that there are people that they don't come and be designing these components, doing it manually. They just go over to these companies that have components already built and copy it. But it's also like best for you to like learn how to like create these components. It's not like it's compulsory, but you don't know the company or the client you'll be working for, and you end up having to like do some work with them, and it will be like so absurd that you cannot actually like know how to design some of these components. You'll be like, oh, so you're not the one doing the design kind of thing. So, but it's still not bad if you decide not to learn. It's still not bad. So these are the components. You see, everything is already here. This is the model board for this one. Sorry, I'm in design. See this one is like a I think it's like a shopping thing. I've forgotten what this, but it's just like a sample anyway. It's not like it's a full product. Here over here is like for the shadows. These are the shadows. So I come over here to like check the shadows I use. If I like any of the shadows, I go over to where I'm trying to like use the product. Best thing I just do, copy it, go over to the product and using paste over it. And I'll like check from here. You see I checked. Just click on the effects. When you click here, just see the below the amount used and everything. It comes out. This is for the notification. Successful, not successful, deactivated, everything. So I don't come and start designing. The best I can do if I still want to like redo my notification, if I don't want this one, I can actually like come over here. Let me like do a quick design. I actually like I'll be like my one side here. Just be checking out this design for me. Just be like stroke. Oh, sorry. This someone else might be like, oh, they want the stroke somewhere here. That's another thing you can do for your this thing, for your notification. You just everything just depends on you. Some people can be like, oh, they want it glass, those glass effects. It still depends on you and anything. So you see this one also like there are different like shadows. Like right now, you see this one, different shadow and everything. If you want all your notifications like white and glass is another. I think yeah, glass effect is one of the nice things out here people are doing. Like I said, try as much as possible to like upgrade your design, upgrade the way you approach your designs, because different design, different approach anyway. And time is actually running, so there are different type of design approach to different things. They are different. Even like Figma updated, there's like Figma. Sorry, there's glass effects. There's glass effects, yes. So let me see if I can see the glass effects from here. Okay, yeah. When you come over here, you see those. Okay, yeah. This is where it is. This is the glass effect. You can see the difference there. You'll be able to do whatever you want to do from here. This is like the glass. You can see it here. You can see how it's mirroring everything. So yeah. Even like iPhone updated. So yeah, that's like the effect of the glass effect here. You can see how it's mirroring everything. So yeah, try as much as possible to up to date whatever you're doing. See, it's just mirroring everything. When you get a notification, this is how it will come. So yeah, try and check out these new features to this glass effect. Is another like good thing Figma did updated. So this is like the model, these instructions on the model. You see everything, the transaction successful and everything. This is like one of my first designs. So we just has my components. Yeah. So you can see here. All this I don't have to redesign because I have the standard. I won't actually say it's a standard design system, but it has almost everything I need for a design system. So let me see if my prototype works. I don't know if it's working. So trying to see if some of the things can work because I'm having serious network issues. This is just like, let me see if I'll just design page. Okay, let me just, like I said, with the use of the components, that's how all these things were achieved. With the use of the components that I already like have built, that's how most of my designs anyway, because I don't have to come and start redoing them ever again. So I just have to come here, copy. So if you're wondering like, oh, you'll be seeing like 200 design screens someone did, you'll be wondering how is the person doing that. Most people already have a built design system. So even if you give them 100 screens, they can be able to cover it because already like 5 or 10 is about, is already like the design, the let me say the login, another 10 or 5 is about the sign up. So the home screen can be another like 5 or 10, which already they have the component. They don't need to come and start wearing or come and start redesigning or whatever. So that's one of the best good things about, and especially all these like Web3 products, SaaS products, e-commerce, they're almost like the same pattern of design, might be different colors or whatever, but now maybe different changes. You might not want it vertical, you would like it horizontal. That's like most of the changes. So one thing with design is always evolve and try to evolve as it does. And I think we'll be coming like close to actually for this class. If anyone has questions, you can actually like start asking anyway. So I will like get to like talk on about everything before I start having network issues.
Thank you so much, Anita. Thank you. This has been an insightful session, I must say. So yeah, the floor is open, everyone. Who has questions for Anita? Kindly unmute and ask. Do we have questions? If you have questions, this is the best time to ask. Who has questions?
I will be
Yes, hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Go ahead, Johnson.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Please, I wanted to know if we'll be having like any additional sessions with her because maybe like things like variables and things. I'm a beginner in the space of Figma, so I'm not really proficient in those things. I wanted to maybe an explanation can be given, maybe a preliminary explanation can be given, and maybe if we have other sessions, we can hammer on such things.
Sorry, I didn't get you. Are you asking if we were going to have other sessions for this?
Yeah, like to explain like more detailed things. Like you see the components she was explaining. Like there are other things that have to do with it, like variables and things like that. Maybe if she could like explain them in like those other sessions in case we have them. Maybe if we won't have those sessions, maybe she could throw a little light on it here.
Okay.
Yes, please.
For the sessions, we will have to plan about that. But Anita, can you quickly explain, maybe like briefly, the questions about variables that you talked about? Okay, I think she just dropped a resource. Johnson, can you check the chat box? She just dropped a resource that I think you can actually check out. Also, the session for this session is being recorded, so it will be uploaded on YouTube tomorrow, right? And I'm sure Anita will also share PDF with us. Yeah. This session will be recorded tomorrow, recorded and uploaded to YouTube tomorrow, and I will share these links just in case you have further questions. But yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I sent the YouTube link right now. You can actually like from the YouTube link like assess it's like a 2 class on variables too, like, and it's actually like broken down as easy as possible. So try and
Okay.
like put that link. So variables are like reusable components. Like I said, you don't have to be every time trying to like design what is there already. These things is something you can do one time. You can take your week or 2 weeks, build it. Actually, it just took me like 4 days to build mine, or 3 days. Build it, makes your design easy as possible, and it makes it like in the alignment, it's not like this one is like 2, the next one is 3 or 4 in spacing. So like it makes your design unique as possible. Someone can actually see your design and be like, oh, you're the one that did this, based on how good your design is. There are people that actually know when someone actually does it